Hey, what's going on, YouTube? How y'all doing? Please come on in. Go ahead and hit that like button. If this is your first time, go ahead and subscribe. All right. Want to talk about something that's kind of, it's a touchy subject, what I'm saying? I know a lot of you guys might know somebody who's been through this or who might be going through this you know what I'm saying? Um I know you guys heard about paternity fraud and all that, right? Where these women are out here putting these men on child support, knowing that these men are not the fathers. You know what I'm saying? Hitting these guys up for a lick. Come to find out, 14, 10, you know, however many years later, that they're not the father, and they got all this child support that they've been paying, right? And the thing about this is these women don't even get in trouble for it, right? You know what I mean? They sit up here and can go into your pockets with the court, right? Court systems can go into your pocket, pull your money out, leave you with barely nothing for years. Then come to find out the child ain't yours, right? And the mother doesn't serve anything, no time. She don't. You're not even guaranteed to getting your money back. There's no guarantee that you'll get your money back. A lot of times you don't. The men don't even get their money back, right? They paid all this money in child support to find out that they're not the father. It just goes to show you how the court system is against men. There's nobody lobbying to get these things changed either. You know what I'm saying? There's no the men. A lot. I mean, I don't understand why we need more men to talk about this and get this out there to where there can be some changes. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe any women are going to do it because it goes against them. You know what I mean? They have a it's like a well of resources, and the court system is one of them, especially paternity court. They can sit up here and in some states put a man on child support, and the guy doesn't even have to sign anything. A girl can sit up and have a child and name you as the father. And 3 years later, you get a knock on the door or the police come to stop you or something, and now you're getting thrown in jail for back child support. 3 years later, and you're like, what child? What child? Who? And they call out a name you ain't heard in about 3 or 4 years. They didn't even know this woman had a child, and come to find out, hey, that child ain't mine. I mean, I know her, but I mean, you don't even have to sleep with them. They can just know who you are, know your name, and put you on child support in certain states, and you're responsible. You know what I mean? And you don't have to sign nothing. You don't have to sign the birth certificate. You don't have to. I mean, like I said, it could be 4 years later, and as long as this woman know your name, she could just put you on child support. That's crazy, and it's because the state don't want to be responsible for their child, so the state will allow that woman to put anybody's name down as the father, and here they come collecting. What I'm saying? It's stupid. It is. It's not fair at all, right? But what I'm going to do, man, we're going to go ahead and get into this video. This is Chantel Simone. She did a video, I think it was Friday, about child support, about paternity fraud, right? And we're going to go ahead and dive into this, man, real quick, and we're going to talk about it. All right. So y'all hold tight. Go ahead and load up this video, man, and we're going to get into this issue of paternity fraud in the U.S. It's crazy.
Kendrell had said, when I saw the link and thumbnail for this live, it reminded me of that TV show called Lauren Lake's Paternity Court. And I started watching it on YouTube yesterday. When I tell you, Kendrell, the amount of paternity fraud show they have, it's crazy. It's sickening. And then the amount of what you would call them, claimants, I don't know, the amount of people that put up on the show, and you find out that the DNA test comes back, you are not the father, and the lady's just like, oh, okay. And majority of the time, they be knowing who the daddy is. I'm gonna show y'all a clip. It's a little triggering, but we're having this conversation because we're too silent about it. You allow these broads to talk on and on and on about how men cheat, about their masculine because it's Dwight's fault, and blame black men. It's always Jermaine's fault for everything. All their life they have to fight.
All my life I had to fight.
Let them tell it. Men are the worst of the worst. But when we look at the statistic when it comes to paternity fraud, there's silence about that. They don't want to acknowledge that if men cheat and men are dogs and men don't take care of their kids, can we talk about how women be giving men kids that's not theirs? Can we also talk about how women be raffling the belly? You don't know who your daddy is. They don't know who their baby daddy is. They be giving their kids the wrong father, wrong information, having their kids grow up all their life thinking that their father and their family is theirs, only to find out, nah, mama was a 304, so she just picked the best man to put the baby on, but we can't talk about that. Why are we so silent about that?
Exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. They can just pick whoever they want to, right? Just any, meeny, miny, mo. Just throw some names, throw some guys' names into the pot, right? And just pick out whoever name they pick. That's the one that's gonna get put on child support. It's not fair. Not fair at all. All right, let's get back into it. Oh yeah, fair use, fair use.
There are consequences for any other kind of fraud, but when it comes to paternity fraud, everybody turns a blind eye. Nobody want to address paternity fraud, and we're so nonchalant about it. We just brush it off like, oh, okay. Like Trey had said earlier, we brush it off. Well, oh, God will judge them. Nah, no, not at all. I'm sorry, no disrespect, but no, we don't do that here.
We don't do that here.
We can't just brush it off and say God is going to judge them. But when it comes to everything else,
right,
men have to deal with the consequences. If a man can go to jail for missing child support on a child that's not even his, why we don't keep the same energy and say, oh, if men aren't paying child support, God will judge them. God will deal with their consequences. But when it comes to paternity fraud, that's when we want to push it off on God. Y'all, let's take a listen to this. I don't know what court this is. I don't know what show this is. As I said, there's so many of them. But pay attention. Wait.
4-year-old Paris Morris. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Morris, you are not the father.
Look how sweet the little girl is. Can you imagine? 4-year-old.
Well, you were
not
correct
the father.
there. You are not Paris's biological father.
Imagine that.
Ms. Thorpe, you don't look surprised.
She ain't surprised.
The next result is for London. In the case of Morris versus Thorpe, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Morris, you are not the father.
Imagine. Well, obviously they're.
Wow, that's crazy. They cute too. Two little twins. The kid's about 3 or 4 years old, and he finding out now that these kids are not his, right?
They're twins, so obviously. But hear her response, y'all.
Ms. Thorpe, somewhere inside of you, you knew this was a very real possibility. I can see your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Who is their father?
The other guy I was talking to.
Come on, man.
That's disgusting.
Look at this. Look at this.
That is a short bus. Cynthia is going to hop into the comment section, y'all. A short bus.
Hold on, that's crazy. You mean tell me this dude sitting up preparing, being with these kids 4 years, right? And this turned out to be the other guy that she was seeing. And she knew it. The thing is, the woman knew this. She knew that this was the guy that it was the kids belonged to another guy that she was seeing. But what they always do, they always pin it on somebody else, because more likely the biological father is a guy that probably ain't, he out here thugging. He ain't out here doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So they put it on the guy that's making, pretty decent money or the most money. You know what I'm saying? It's stupid. And then, but yeah, and right here, this is stupid, right? This is stupid as well, because you got some women out here like this lady talking about, is it paternity fraud, or is men running from their responsibilities and the consequences of laying down with a woman unprotected? The thing is, if the court, how is he running when it's been proven that he's not the father, right? If you got a DNA test saying that you ain't the daddy, how is it that the man is running? See, this is why she called them short bus Cynthia's, because these women are stupid. Yeah, they belong on the short bus, talking like this. All right.
Cynthia says, is it paternity fraud or men running from their responsibilities in the consequences of laying down with a woman unprotected? Because in today's age, with technology, how can a woman do that? These short bus Cynthia, these slow women who love to deflect and move the goalposts,
don't make no sense.
With a definition as clear as day about paternity fraud,
right,
is going to come in and say it's because men are running from their responsibilities. Now you have a woman who is going to look at a man and say, this child is yours.
Just stupid.
You're supposed to care for the child, love the child, gain an emotional attachment to the child.
And y'all, I did edit some of this because, like I said, I think this was an hour and something, almost a 2-hour video she did, but I edited it down. So just to get the main points, the main topic, you know what I'm saying? Just to get to the main points of the video. All right.
And this man is so excited about his seed that he brought in this world, only to find out that this child is not his. And in trying to spread attention to it, in trying to bring awareness to it, in trying to bring awareness to these frauds that's been going on, 75% in Jamaica, 40% of men on child support, according to Gary. I don't know how accurate that stat is. This short bus female is going to come in and try to deflect and say it's because the men are trying to run from their responsibilities. I'm not saying that there aren't men around there who are out there who are running from their responsibilities. Let me say that again. There are men around who aren't responsible dads. There are men who have kids that they're not taking care of. Yes, we can discuss those kind of men. Also, we're going to discuss the women who are lying to these men, telling them that the child is theirs when it's not.
Exactly.
Telling them that these children, they need to pay child support for, is theirs. Bringing these men to court for child support when they know the child is not theirs. Can we talk about that too?
That's crazy, man. These women know. They know exactly what they're doing. They know these guys are not the father. They know, and they, like I said, a lot of times they know exactly who the daddy is, right? They know exactly who the father is, but they want to blame it on some other guy. But nothing's supposed to happen to them, right? You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of times, I mean, women are just this. This is what women are, right?
You're so damn evil. You're so damn evil.
I mean, am I lying? Where's the lie? If you know that the guy is not the father, right? But you go blame it on him anyway. You know what I'm saying? And then you go out here and put his name on the birth certificate.
You're so damn evil.
I mean, it is what it is, right? And who does that? How can you sleep at night knowing that you got a man on child support and you know that the child ain't his?
You're so damn evil.
It's fucking stupid. All right, let's get back into it.
Thorpe, you don't look surprised.
She ain't. Oh, did I go too far back?
The next result is for London. In the case of Morris versus Thorpe, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Morris, you are not the father.
Imagine. Well, obviously they're twins, so obviously. But hear her response, y'all.
Miss Thorpe, somewhere inside.
Too far back.
To bring awareness to these frauds. female is going to come in and try to deflect and say it's
But yeah, I
because
went too
men
far
are
back.
trying to run from their responsibilities. I'm not saying that there aren't men around there who are out there who are running from their responsibilities. Let me say that again. There are men around who aren't responsible dads. There
Right.
are men who have kids that they're not taking care of. Yes, we can discuss those kind of men. Also, we're going to discuss the women who are lying to these men, telling them that the child is theirs when it's not. Telling them that these children they need to pay child support for is theirs, bringing these men to court for child support when they know the child is not theirs. Can we talk about that too? That's how evil women are. Even
Exactly.
if these women aren't participating
Exactly.
in,
You're so damn evil.
they will still hear about paternity
Evil.
fraud and try to deflect. That is how evil Western women are. If this is not evilness, what is it?
You're so damn evil.
It's not a definition of evil, the devil himself, then what is it? Y'all go ahead and hit the like button. As I said, we love to just focus on the next.
She right. She right. It's straight evil, man. Like I said, I don't understand how women can do that. I don't know how they sleep at night. You know, knowing that you got a guy on child support and you know that the guy's not the father.
Negative traits of men. We love to focus on how men cheat and how men beat and how men will get you pregnant and leave you and they're not taking care of their kids. And but the stats shows that majority of women in Jamaica, majority of them are giving men jackets. The stats shows that 40% of men on child support aren't taking care of the kids. Time and time again, over and over, you see these people showing up to paternity court with it being revealed that the child isn't theirs. But we can't have that conversation without these evil airheads jumping in talking about, well, what about?
Mm-hmm. And this is
Why we
happening
can't
over.
acknowledge that both are wrong? Why?
And this is happening all over. I mean, this is happening in the States, Jamaica. I mean, it's black, white. It doesn't matter. This is what's going on with men, no matter what race you are. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, this is a gender thing.
We can't call out both dysfunction. Here's the definition of fraud, y'all. Big up yourself, Yardley. Can't read that. Here's a definition of fraud. It's a wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain. Wrongful or criminal.
Yet they don't get no
What
time.
are the consequences for paternity fraud?
None. And
Why
that's the thing. They don't get any. There's no consequence for it. These women can sit up here and do this, and I mean, it's not even a slap on the wrist. It's like she said, she called it oopsies. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it is. It's like, oh, okay, she messed up, or she named the wrong man. Okay, I mean, that's it. They don't nothing, and nothing comes of it. They get nothing. Not even. I mean, it's not even a slap on the wrist. Basically, it's like a pat on the shoulder. Well, good, you tried. You know what I mean? And that's it. It's fucking stupid.
are we so silent when we talk about paternity fraud? Why do we try to deflect when we talk about paternity fraud? Welcome, guys. As y'all come in, please go ahead and hit the like button and double check that you are still subscribed to the channel, because YouTube is acting up because we talk about conversations that highlight women toxicity. Now, not all, Cynthia. I know some of y'all gonna come in here and say not all. So if you don't fall under the evilness of paternity fraud, why are you trying to deflect? If we're having a conversation to highlight how toxic paternity fraud is, and you don't participate in it, why are you trying to deflect?
Exactly.
You already said, fellas, get a DNA test, married or not, 100%.
I said what I said.
And if your wife, girlfriend, baby mama, whatever she is, fights against that DNA test, that child is not yours. If the child is yours, she wouldn't mind getting a DNA test. Forget her talking about how it's because you don't trust me. Are you saying you don't trust me? Yes. He don't trust you. If I know that the belly belongs to my husband and my husband asks for a DNA test, why is that any argument? Because I know the test is going to come back where he's the daddy. I know the results of the test before I even take the test. So why would I be arguing with him about taking the test? You already said, fellas, get a DNA test, married or not. Get the DNA test. I want to say that there is a way you can even test before the baby is born. Correct me if I'm wrong, unless that brings high risk to the baby.
Right, exactly. And that's another thing. They should have a DNA test, right? They should test a paternity test, right? They should have that done when the child is born. They really should. Like when the child is born, they should have a paternity test, to establish, who the father. And like a lot of women will get mad if you ask them that, right? They will get mad if you try to get a paternity test, when the baby's born. They will be mad, saying, try to hit you with the shaming language, you don't trust me. How can you do this? I'd rather you be mad at me. I can take you. I'd rather you be mad than to, spend 14, 15 years paying child support or taking care of a child that's not mine. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have you mad. But they will. These women will try to shame you guys with that, you don't trust me. How could you? You know this baby yours and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? They will sit up and lie, knowing that the child belongs to somebody else. But if you try to do a paternity test when the child is born, they'll get mad at you. Like I said, I'd rather you be mad than I have to pay child support for a child that ain't mine, or have to take care of a child for 14, 15 years and then find out it ain't mine. You know what I'm saying? But they don't care about that. And they don't think about what that does to that child. You know what I mean? To find out that, you bonded with this child and now all of a sudden you're not the father. What does that do to the child? And women don't think about that. They don't think about that at all.
But get the test. Brianna Faye said, just had a baby and I 100% agree. We're living in a society. We're living in a culture where so many men fall victim to paternity fraud. And there's not a mandatory DNA test at birth. Make it make sense. Let us break it down. I made a post. Someone had left a comment about how the West is so against men, particularly Black men. We're going to talk about it. In case of Jamaica, if 75% of men tested turns out to not be the father, why on earth wouldn't DNA test be mandatory at birth? You see, y'all see how the system set up against men? Because I can guarantee you, if it was the other way around and it was 75% of, I don't know, say 75% of dads don't be financially taking care of their children, what will they put in place? Child support.
Exactly.
And they have child support. They have alimony. They have all of these things put in place to protect the woman.
But not the man.
But on the flip side, when so many men fall victim of paternity fraud and the government is not putting anything in place to protect these men, what can we conclude? Orissa, shout out to you. I see you in here. I want to read some of the comments. Because Shia, shout out to you, Shia. Haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully you're doing well. Has said, this happened to my husband. His mom pinned another man as his father. And when he found out, she still won't tell him who his real father is.
See, and that's a damn shame.
Look at it from the perspective.
And that's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. This comment right here, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? She said that happened to her husband. His mom pinned another man as the father. And when he asked her, she would not tell him who his daddy was. Right? What woman does that? What mother does that? What mother will sit up and not tell you? You find out that, the man that you thought was your father is not your father, right? but the mom won't tell you who your real father is. Really? Does that make any sense? Who does that, right? What woman would not tell you who your biological father is? You know, you find out that the man you thought was your father is not your father, but she's so honoring, she's so you know what I'm saying? She's so
damn evil.
She's so evil that, you know, she won't tell you who your biological father is, right? That's crazy. I guess because she got mad that he found out, right? She mad that he found out, you know, that this guy wasn't his daddy. Now he wants to know who his daddy is, and she won't tell him. That's ridiculous.
Of a child. You have no idea who your father is because your daddy, your mama is trying to keep that.
Let's move it up some.
Man, thank you so much for being in here, and thank you for supporting. This is a conversation that is pushed to the side. We don't discuss it. We don't talk about it. We say things like, oh, God is going to deal with them. They're going to get judged. God will judge them. No.
Yeah, I'm going to move it up. There's another video coming up I want you guys to see. But yeah, this is crazy, man, how these women are doing this to these people.
Not have it, right? We will not have it. We got to have the conversation.
We will not have it. I said we will not have it. Oh.
Of course, Lapeef Mango VD. Which Jamaican don't Lapeef Mango? Like, come on now. But as I said, you know which yard for Lapeef Mango from, right? And you're not the Lapeef Mango from the yard with the big dog.
You know, I apologize.
The only way you can get mango
video
from
freezing
the
like
yard
this.
with
I
the
don't
big
know this
dog is if the
internet.
mango fall over the fence.
Yeah, this is internet. We had some rain.
The yard where you can just open gates and walk in and thief mango from. That's the yard you continue thieving mango from. Because if there are no consequences to something, you're going to continue doing it. There are no consequences to paternity fraud. Even though the term fraud is defined as wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain, there are no consequences to that kind of fraud. So we have these women continuing to do it.
Yep, no
and that is not okay.
No consequence at all.
Nobody ever talks about it. I found this video. I typed in paternity fraud consequences, I don't even remember what I typed in, and I saw this video. I want to show it real quick. Shout out to this lady. It's from a law firm. Let's take a listen.
Paternity fraud laws and how they're behind the times. It may be a no-brainer to know who mothers a child. When it comes to a father, sometimes the lines can become a little blurry, and this is where paternity fraud has been known to surface, posing opportunity for a lot of upsetting problems. And why not? Once a dad finds out he's not the biological father, there's a lot of pain and resentment to be expressed. And then, of course, there's the child to be considered, but that's for another video. Looking at the U.S. population, experts believe as much as 4% of the dads out there are raising children that were fathered by other men.
She said at least 4% of the dads out there are raising
more
children.
Than that. It's more than that.
Put a one in the chat if y'all think that's accurate.
Yeah, it's more than that.
Way more than 4%. I am so sorry. I'm thinking it's way more than 4% of men. If Gary had said earlier that 40% of men who on child support turns out to not be the dad, then the math ain't mathing when we say only 4% of men are fathering child, are taking care of kids who belong to a different father. I see the twos. It's way more than 4%. And we won't know the accurate number because DNA test, paternity test is not mandatory. Right. And men allow these hyenas to decide.
And they need to make them mandatory. And that's the problem. They need to make these DNA paternity tests mandatory at birth. But you know, a lot of women are going to push back. A lot will push back and say that you know, it makes it seem like the man don't trust a woman. But I mean, with all these cases going on, a lot of times he ain't got no choice, right? He just want to know the truth, man. He want to make sure that his child is his child. I mean, if it's his child, you wouldn't have a problem with it. If it's the man's child, you would not have a problem with doing a DNA test.
A test real quick. If anything, you wouldn't want to ease his mind, so you would want to even present the DNA test before he even asks you for it. That's how women who not trying to manipulate men think. But let's continue real quick.
They be trying to get over.
That may seem like a low number, but in terms of children, that's anywhere from 5 to 7 million kids who are in the midst of paternity fraud and don't know it. In some cases, the father may not be raising the child, but rather paying child support ordered by a court. So what happens when a dad finds out he's paid years of child support only to learn the child wasn't his? Exactly. According to the link below the video, fathers who've been paying child support under fraudulent claims of paternity are not guaranteed reimbursement.
God damn.
Most states in the U.S. have laws that may continue to hold
guaranteed reimbursement.
Man, this is some bullshit.
Imagine your child.
I mean, tell me you go through all that, all that for all these years, and you're not guaranteed reimbursement. It's a racket, man. It's a, you know what I'm saying? You've been set up. The government doesn't want to take care of your child, right? If a woman has a child and don't name a father, that means the government has to take care of it. The government don't want to take care of it, so they will let them put anybody's name on their birth certificate.
And her 4 degrees. That is a lot of money. And you're not going to get reimbursed for it. Why? Because the court system is in the mama's favor. The court system panders to women, heavily support women. But let it be, y'all, that he had back child support for 14 years.
They will be coming after him.
Let it be that he hasn't paid his child support.
Jail
$500 a month.
They go garnish his check
for 14 years and see how quick they lock him up. There is this one video that Pink Book Lessons did about a man. I want to say he's in his 70s. His kids full-blown grown. His baby mama dead and gone. And they're still trying to sue him for child support. This man is in his 70s.
It's damn shame.
And he still got to go to court for child support.
Can y'all believe that?
So Kendra said it's $84,000, $500 a month for 14 years, $84,000. You paid only to find out that the child is not yours, and you're not guaranteed not even half, not even 1/3 of that, but let you miss 1 or 2 months of child support on a child that is not even yours. Yeah, he's getting every check garnished or jail. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Let's continue.
Hold the non-biological father financially accountable until the child's 18. But why is that?
Wait,
well,
let me
if you can
rewind
believe
it
it,
I want to hear what
financially accountable until the child's 18.
Wait,
but why is that? Most states in the U.S. have laws that may continue to hold the non-biological father financially accountable until the child's 18.
You heard? Let's listen, y'all.
Imagine being forced to support a stranger, a child you've never seen, a child that isn't even yours. That's the story we're bringing out in the open right now. In almost half the states in the United States, a man does not have the legal right to fight a child support order, even if DNA proves he is not the father. Tonight, Susan Candiotti shows us one man's remarkable struggle with laws that are clearly stacked against him.
Laws, and I have to put pause in it, y'all, it's CNN. But laws that have clearly been stacked against him. She said in half of the states, you are still held accountable for child support, even when it is proven that you're not the father. As I said earlier, these hyenas can justify child support. They can justify alimony. They can justify taking half of his pension. How are you going to justify a man paying child support for a child that is not his, that he has never met? Y'all listen to Mr. Rodriguez's story.
And they will do it. They will do it. Don't
if
make
it's
no sense.
Nothing but the ghetto, I don't know what is.
The ghetto.
Go ahead and hit the like button, y'all, and make sure that you're still double check that you're still
Telling you,
subscribed.
these court systems, these court systems are not for men. Not at all. None of this will ever be in your favor.
Like many couples, Francisco Rodriguez and his wife Michelle both work hard, but still find themselves living paycheck to paycheck.
Repetition. Yeah, playing over and over again.
It's expensive raising his two daughters and a son from his wife's previous marriage. And Rodriguez has one more mouth to feed. This birth certificate says he's also the father of a 15-year-old daughter.
Damn.
He says
the birth certificate said he's a daughter of a 15-year-old mother, of a 15-year-old daughter. Pardon me. So that means to tell me, sir, women can just get pregnant now and just list any random person as the father of the child.
Yeah.
If there's no DNA to prove, there's no DNA test required, how can you list a man as the father of the child without his knowledge?
Yeah, they can
Let's
do
continue. Oh, and something Darren has said, this reminds me of the dads by default law up in Michigan. Apparently, I don't know how accurate this is. I think it was Pink Book Lessons. I did a video on this. Apparently, if you're like living with the woman or something, you guys in the same household, then by default, you are the children's father and she can put you on child support or some BS like that. Not only, as I said earlier, not only is the court system in favor of women, but it's strongly against men. Because it's one thing to be for women and looking out for women and collecting child support and alimony and pension for women. But it is strongly against men for saying things like dad by default, for forcing them to pay child support for children who they have proved it is not theirs, for children that they have not even met.
Yep.
Make it make sense. Let us continue.
Says he didn't even know about her until 3 years ago when he was notified a former girlfriend had filed for child support.
Can you imagine?
What did you say?
It can't be. Can't be.
Rodriguez owes $305 a month in child support. He's more than $10,000 behind in payments, and
$10,000 behind in payment because a former ex-girlfriend decided to put him on child support.
And the baby ain't even his. Not even his.
Bullshit!
Make it make sense.
Don't make no sense at all.
and even spent one night in jail because of it.
Can you imagine?
There's just
And then he
one
spent the
thing.
night in jail.
Rodriguez says he's not the daddy and has a 2003 DNA test to prove it.
And you
Y'all.
read down here, and what does it say?
Look, you mean to tell me this dude has a DNA test to prove that he's not the daddy? He's got a DNA test. And she was still able to put him on child support. Tell me that ain't some BS. You guys, y'all, I'm serious, man. The courts are not for men. You got to protect yourself. You got to protect yourself. You can't be out here just going up in these women because they telling you, oh, I don't like the feel of a condom. I don't like the way a condom feels. And we all know, we've all heard it before. They will tell you that. These women will sit up here and tell you they don't like the way a condom feels. And guess what we do? We run up in them anyway. And then you're on the line for this. Child might not be yours though. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it might not be, because she might be doing this to more than one person. So you got to be careful. Y'all got to start going to alleviate that problem. If you do, I mean, y'all start using condoms. Start using condoms. Because if you going up in them raw, 9 times out of 10, they can pin it on you and you'll think that it's yours because you went up in them raw and you won't even try to contest it, right? But you might not be the only one that's doing that. That's why you need to use a condom. And if she does say the child is yours, get a DNA test. Get a DNA test. I mean, if that makes her mad, then that makes her mad. She'll be all right. Trust me, she will be okay. She'll be mad for a minute. If this is a girl that you ain't trying to spend no time with, she just gonna be mad. You know what I mean? If y'all ain't together, ain't married, ain't trying to get married, if you're just somebody you knock down, I mean, let her be mad. Get a paternity test. You know what I mean? They need to do, shit. It's crazy, man. Like I said, there's nothing out here to protect us. Nothing out here to protect men at all. All right, let's keep it moving. This thing done froze.
Imagine.
There's just one
There we
thing.
go.
Rodriguez says he's not
Listen to
the
this.
daddy and has a 2003 DNA test to prove it.
And you
Right.
read down here, and what does it say?
It says Francisco D. Rodriguez is excluded as the biological father.
In fact, it says probability of parentage
0.
Let's get this.
0.
0%.
0%.
Yet he's still ordered to pay child
Imagine
support.
that.
Ain't this
Rodriguez
something?
next got the girl's mother to sign this notarized affidavit in 2004.
Crazy.
In it, she writes DNA tests say, quote, he's not the father, and asked to, quote, terminate child support. But even that didn't stop his court-ordered payments.
It's almost like you're drowning every day. You
So
want to know?
she, the mother herself, put him on child support, knowing that he's not the daddy, and then asked to have him taken off of child support, and it's denied.
That
don't
the
make
court.
no sense. That
The
don't
court
add
didn't.
up.
The court denied it. Ain't that something?
Y'all will know more than me.
How the court
But
go
if she's
deny
trying
it?
to take him off of child support, how is that denied?
That's crazy. These courts don't
know
give a
when you're
damn.
going to be able to go up and gas some air. And, it's just that's the way we've been living these past 4 years.
Trying to get courts to listen can be a long, drawn-out affair. According to one group, Florida is one of only 27 states that allow men to fight back at all. Most of those states have set time limits to challenge paternity. And if
So Florida, shout out to Florida. Florida is only one of 27 states that allow men to fight back at all. So in some states, men can't even fight back, y'all. Men can't even fight back when they are paying for child support for a kid that's not theirs.
Can't fight back at all. Can't do nothing. You just gotta accept it. That's bull.
This is ridiculous.
If men don't meet those deadlines, even if they can prove they're not the father, they cannot get back the money they already paid in child support.
Can't get the money
and
back.
Might still be responsible for future payments. Carnell Smith went through a similar nightmare. He founded an organization to lobby for new laws. He wants mandatory DNA tests when a child is born.
Exactly, as it should be. I want to read this comment. His ghetto point of view. His ghetto point of view had responded to Bertram and said, it's not as simple for men to win in court, and the court costs are insane. They can pile up super fast, and that don't include the support. That's another thing.
Yep.
So while you are fighting this in court, and having to be paying court costs, you're also still have to be paying for child support.
Wow,
so say you make, I don't know, say you make $3,000 a month and your bill.
Yeah, you steady paying these court costs, and you still got to pay child support while you trying to fight. And you're not the dad, and that's the thing. You're not the father, but you got to pay these court costs and still pay the child support for a child that's not yours. That don't make no. I mean, you see what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. It don't. None at all.
Get off of child support. You're not getting any of that money back.
Nope.
You can't even sue the mom for paternity fraud.
Can't do nothing.
You can't sue nobody. The most you can do is a civil lawsuit, which probably not even gonna get you nowhere.
Just shit out of luck. Shit out of luck.
It's messed up. There's no jokes, but it is messed up. Absolutely messed up. Let's continue.
Unfortunately, today, it is not a crime
for someone to lie about which man is the father.
Damn.
The mother doesn't have to return the money, and rarely, if ever, is she prosecuted for perjury, for fraud.
Imagine.
Pressure there.
Imagine. Let's rewind.
That's crazy. That is crazy. So she can sit up and lie. Let's check this out. She can sit up and lie about who's the father, collect all this money for years, and she ain't got to pay none of it back, and then she don't get in any trouble. Why wouldn't a woman do that? Why wouldn't a woman put you on child support? You know what I mean? That's why they get upset. That's why the women get upset when you ask who's the father. You know what I mean? If you try to put them on if you try to get a DNA test, that's why they get upset. But what they do is hit you with the "you don't trust me." Why would I trust you when you can do this, right? Why? Why would I trust you when it's so easy for you to just name anybody as the daddy, right? If you naming me as the father, I won't, and we're not even if we are married here. I want that DNA test, right? Because you could have slept with somebody and got pregnant, and now you're saying it's mine. Why would I want that? You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm taking care of a child, and then I can't even get my money back. You not go get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? These women they don't even get a slap on the wrist. They don't get anything. It's just like I said, it's like, oh well, sorry. Go on about your business. And that's it.
Him again, because that was important. In this day and age, you're not being prosecuted for fraud.
Nope. Paternity fraud is not a crime.
Any other fraud, you got to deal with the consequences. But when it comes to paternity fraud, you just say, "Oh, oopsies," and walk away.
Fortunately, today, it is not a crime for someone to lie about which man is the father. The mother doesn't have to return the money, and rarely, if ever, is she prosecuted for perjury, for fraud.
How about that pressure there?
Every paycheck Rodriguez gets as a massage therapist.
That's crazy. You don't get hit with nothing. You credit card fraud, you get time, put in jail, right? You can get in trouble and put in jail for check fraud, identity theft fraud. All these other type of frauds you can get in trouble for and pay a fine or get thrown in jail. But paternity fraud, oh no, you get a free pass on that. We're not gonna prosecute you. You just get, bye. You know what I'm saying? Like Chantel said, oopsies. I mean, that's it. It's like, it's not even a slap on the wrist. Just, okay, go on about your business.
Therapist is garnished by the state of Florida to make sure he pays.
Yeah, gross for $273. They garnished $152.31 and left me with $99.80 to bring home.
What do you do with that?
For a child that is not his. Out of his whole paycheck, he getting $99 because he's paying for a child that's not his, when the mama right there know who the father is.
You just working.
She knows he's not the father.
You don't even have a life. You don't even have a life. You just working just to pay child support.
Hot fam, yeah, I saw that clip where the man did 5 years in prison for back child support, only to find out that the child is not his, and the mom knew all along, even when the man was sitting down there in jail. The mom knew that he was not the father. If he's in jail, you're not getting child support anyways.
Right.
You're so damn evil.
That's all it is.
For 5 years, he sit down in prison.
That's all it is.
For back child
support. You're so damn evil.
Not his. What consequences the mom dealt with?
None.
What jail time?
Nothing.
What did the mom have to do to make up for 5 years that this man lost? even though she knew all along that he wasn't the evilness that goes on behind that. You have a man sitting there in jail for child support for a kid. You know he not the daddy. Y'all.
I just grab what I can in the supermarket.
Is your client willing to take additional paternity testing?
A recent change in Florida law has given Rodriguez hope. It clears the way for Rodriguez to get a court-sanctioned DNA test.
I still have to pay that.
Even so, after his
still
most
gotta pay.
recent hearing, Rodriguez's frustration.
But that's crazy because he already has paperwork from 2013, right? Showing that he's not the father. That's crazy. But he still got to get a court. See, this is all about money, man. These courts are a ripoff. They're a trip. It's all about money. It's all about money. Even though he has a DNA test from 2013 saying that he's not the father, he still got to get a court-sanctioned DNA test, which means he's got to pay more money. Fucking, it's a ripoff, man. These courts are a ripoff.
Boils over.
Of course.
So when you live check by check, it's hard. When you got to come up with money to avoid jail time.
Damn shame.
It's ridiculous.
2 weeks later, Rodriguez took that new DNA test. His ex-girlfriend and her daughter are no-shows, and it's not clear if they've been retested yet. CNN was unable
they don't even show
able
up.
to reach his
But they're wasting his
ex-girlfriend
time
for comment.
I'm hoping that the courts will go after her by all means necessary and just
come on now, you know
do
that's
the
not
right
gonna happen,
thing.
sir.
Even if he wins his,
they wasting his time.
Get back what he's already paid, and Florida law does not automatically take him off the hook for that $10,000 he still owes. Susan Candiotti, CNN, Fort Lauderdale.
Joining me now.
See what I'm saying? It's all they care about is that money, man. They don't care about the guy at all. It's the money. You know what I mean? They wanted him to go and get another court-sanctioned paternity test. It's all about the money. He already has a test from 2013, right? So why does he have to do another one? And then, of course, the mother ain't gonna show up. The woman who says he's the father, she ain't gonna show up. They just wasting his time. But he still has to pay child support while they're waiting on all this.
Court receiving money, as long as the state receiving money, they don't care.
Right? They don't.
That's messed up, man.
Now, Court TV anchor Jamie Floyd. This is ridiculous. He has to pay this money.
Yeah, it's an amazing story.
Is this a fluke, or we heard
No,
of
it's
two
not a
cases there?
fluke.
How
It's
often
not a
does this
fluke.
I
happen?
think it's a terrible fluke because it's so easy to say that someone's the daddy.
Exactly.
And DNA is a relatively recent thing. So there are a lot of guys out there, I imagine, paying child support for kids that aren't theirs. The great irony is that we always hear stories, and it is a real problem, of men who are the daddy who aren't paying.
Sure.
Here you've got a guy who's not the daddy who is paying. So it's quite an amazing tale.
So what is the deal with these states setting these time limits by which you have to deny that you're the father?
The men, we hear about cases who the men are the daddy and not paying, and the court system step in, garnish their paycheck, put them in jail, do everything in its power to get them to pay.
Right.
But when we hear about cases where the men aren't the daddy
They don't do
are
nothing.
paying, the court system just silent. The court system busy. It's on do not disturb. Come back next week. And we're not talking about it. And then we're not talking about this, and we're not calling out the women who are putting the men on child support.
Ain't saying
knowing
nothing.
that they're not the daddy. And
But
then
ain't
the
nothing
women
gonna
who
happen.
aren't doing that, the women who
But nothing's going to happen. The more and more these women do this, nothing happens to the women. That's why they're doing it. They're not holding them accountable. They're not getting in any trouble, so they just let them do it.
there's no life in the West. Come on, this is some BS.
I mean, come on. And in 23 of these states, you only have 60 days.
Well, they have policy concerns. They want a child to know who the father is within a reasonable amount of time. And they also don't want the system to get bogged down with paternity battles 10, 15 years after the fact. But now we've got DNA. And that really changes the whole equation. It's not he says, she says.
You see, Ted said it. Ted Smith, big up yourself, said this will just go on and on until men start protesting in large numbers, but men refuse.
Yep, that's the problem. That's the problem.
Men should be protesting in every country in the West, especially in Jamaica. As Jay Stuller had mentioned on, I want to say it was Tuesday's conversation. A lot of times these men don't find out that the kids aren't theirs until they be filing for the children at embassy. Can you imagine the embarrassment? You go file for your child only to find out the child is not yours. These women continue to get away with these things because nobody not protesting, nobody not talking out against it.
Right.
We just sweep it under the rug.
Yep, that's the problem. Nobody's saying anything.
And these women are talking about, oh, it's disrespectful to ask me for a paternity test. Do you not trust me? No. No, you can't be trusted.
Exactly. You're going to get disrespected then.
If you're fighting against a paternity test, then that's a huge red flag. Men, hear me.
Yep. It's just like women who fight against paternity tests. If they fight against paternity, I mean, damn, they're just like the prenups. If they fight up against, if they're fighting you because you asked for a prenup, like you just showed a red flag. They will fight you for a prenup, and they will fight you against paying, they're doing a paternity test. Either one's a red flag. If they fight you against either one of those things that's going to benefit you or help you out, it's a red flag, right?
It was this bald lady talking about, oh, it's disrespectful if you're gonna ask for paternity tests. How is it disrespectful when 75% of men in Jamaica tested found out to be not the father? How is it disrespectful when about 40% of men on child support not the father? How is it disrespectful when y'all don't know how to rest your front, rest your body, and y'all just stay raffling the belly? Y'all put all the men name in a hat, shake it up, and then pick the name, and whichever name come, that's who you pin the belly on. But it's disrespectful for a man to protect himself and ask for a paternity test.
Yep.
It really, and even blood testing wasn't as precise as DNA. It can only narrow the field. Now we've got DNA. There's really no excuse, and the law needs to catch up to the science.
All right. So how does Francisco catch up here if you were advising him?
Well, the law now recognizes that this is a problem, but Francisco's case preceded the current laws. So I don't know that he's going to be able to, after the fact, either get the money back that he's paid or certainly even unhook himself from the extra $10,000 he owes. I think it's a real problem for all those men who came before, but there are lessons to be learned for the future. I don't know about Francisco. I think in his case, he's going to have to affirmatively sue or even perhaps press criminal charges.
Is that the lesson to be learned from this?
Can he press criminal charges?
That's crazy. Though? Probably not. I mean, that's more money. It's like every time
press criminal charges,
you turn around, you spending more money.
Look how many women out here
putting
the belly on men who don't belong.
He probably won't be able to press criminal charges because they're not doing. I mean, the courts ain't even doing anything
to step up and do something.
But that's more money, so I mean, probably won't wind up doing it.
They need to fight back. This happened way too often. It's way too common. He can file criminal charges on the mother, or is to say, yes, paternity fraud benefits the woman and the government, so they won't try to change it. The mother committed fraud. Yeah, my whole thing is right then and there in court, when it's read that you are not the father and you see that the man have been filing and paying child support. Right then and there, why she's not arrested for any other fraud case or anything? They move quick. But in this one, is it because they have to prove that she didn't know? Let's finish up.
Or should the law be a little more flexible? I understand the law is the law, But now that you've got DNA testing that can definitively prove that a man didn't sire a child, how can you force him to pay this money?
I think that's right. I think the law should be more flexible. And in fact, the law can be more precise. Let's DNA test when the baby is born.
Exactly.
Let's do that right up, straight up.
Right there.
Or
as soon as the baby come out.
But the law rarely allows for folks who were affected under old laws to now fall under new laws. And it seems terribly unjust, but the system would grind to a halt if we allowed for that.
Because they want to keep.
You believe that? I do. I think, unfortunately, what would happen is you'd have lots and lots of men come.
The states don't want to pay out that money. Because now, like she was saying, the states don't want to pay the money because if it turns out that you're not the father, you ain't got to pay child support no more. So now the state got to get involved and help out. And they don't want to do that. Like I said, it's all about the money. They would rather you pay for a kid that ain't yours than for that woman to go on some type of state assistance, government assistance, which they started the shit anyway. But anyway.
Out of the woodworks, trying to revisit orders that are currently in place. And,
exactly.
And what would be
ain't nothing wrong with that, but
with that.
But they don't want that to happen. They don't want that to happen.
If a man can, a 75-year-old man, I'll try to pull up that video too for Sunday. If a 75-year-old man can still be taken to court for back child support 40 years ago, what's so wrong with digging up cases? What's so wrong with men coming out and saying, hey, I had to pay, as Kendra said earlier, $84,000 in child support? At least half. At least sue her for half. What is so wrong with garnishing her paycheck if she put this man on child support knowing he's not the daddy?
Unfortunately, justice has to be somewhat, there's a bit of triage that goes on. I know we don't like that. We want to think justice is done in every case.
Well, this certainly isn't fair what is happening, Francisco.
No, it's not fair.
I don't think that anybody out there would support the idea of him supporting a kid, not only that he hasn't met, but he didn't father.
And what he's got going in his favor is that the mother is now acknowledging that he's not the father. That's rather unique. So we have that in addition to his DNA.
But yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, even like in his case, like she just said, the mother has acknowledged that he's not the father, but they're still taking child support from him. They're still taking his child support, even though the woman has said that he's not the father. She's acknowledged it because they did a DNA test back in 2013. So she's acknowledged it, but the court still want his money. You see what I mean? The courts, they don't care. They don't care if you're not the father. You know, they want that money. They want you to pay for it. They don't want to have to be involved in paying for that child, even though it's not yours. And if you're not paying, if you don't pay, then guess what? You're going to go to jail. You see what I mean? It's not in your favor at all, man. You are not the father. You're not paying any child support, but they will say they will put you in jail because that woman put your name on that birth certificate. All she has to know is your name. And she can write your name down. You ain't got to sign nothing. She can do everything. And now you're on the hook for child support. Ain't that some crap? But they can do that. They can definitely do that, man. And what I'm going to do, I want to start looking into this some more and start doing more videos on paternity tests and on paternity court and paternity fraud and all that crap, because just to show you guys that, you know, it's not for us. Nothing's out there to help us. They're going to keep on, you know, putting men on the hook for something for children that are not theirs. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be out here paying money for kids that are not yours. You know, there's more. I mean, you see it all the time on these paternity court cases, these TV shows, right? Well, women, and I'm going to start pulling up more of these. I'm going to start pulling these up and start showing them. But you guys, tell me what you think about this video. I know it's been an hour. But yeah, tell me what you think about this video. And, you know, lay something down in the comments, man, if y'all want to see more stuff on this. And like I said, this is to help the guys out because, like I said, there's nothing out here to help us when it comes to this paternity fraud. The women are not going to get in trouble. They're not going to do anything to the women at all. You know, they're just going to, you know, like I said, just the oopsies. You know, not even a slap on the wrist. They just let them walk free. They don't get no time, no charges. You don't even get your money back. You know, it's crazy. But yeah, you guys go ahead, like, hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you've made it this far, and go ahead and share and everything like that. Drop some comments down below. You guys, please be good to yourself. By all means, let's be good to one another. And just remember, man, these court systems are not in your favor. They're going to try to juice you for every dime you got. All right, you guys take it easy. Peace out.